everybody. I am Jen Jones.
And I'm VA.
And we are AmpEQ, the voice of Arena. And it's wild to say that as we're sitting in Arena Apparel and now Arena Radio headquarters with Mr. Arena himself, Damon.
Hi guys, how you doing?
Good.
We're doing great, and we're just happy to be here because I got to tell you, you're going to tell everybody the world about Arena and your vision behind it and how this all happened. And I got to tell you, this is, for me, it's an exciting story because I've known you for quite some time.
It's true.
And I remember the first time we kind of went through this whole scenario, right? And this is like, we ran into each other and I looked over, I'm like, we have got to talk. This dream about this whole new concept, I mean, it got my eye, it got my attention, and I'm just, I'm happy to be sitting here interviewing you and just really begin to share this vision to the rest of the, the art and community and the world and the whole nine yards. So how did you come up with this?
Yeah, what's funny is you had mentioned that we met probably, this has got to be 20 years ago.
22
maybe?
years ago.
Now you're aging
And
yourselves.
so at that point, I had started my first company, which was physical music distribution. So we were putting cassettes and CDs and vinyl records into Tower Records, HMVs, Virgin Megastores, physical retail. And then as things kind of evolved, I think, Amazon Download popped up. And then iTunes Download, iTunes Store popped up. And so we started aggregating our content, clients' content to those DSPs. Then you fast forward to present day, everything is what is now called the access model or subscription based.
Yep.
Right.
And that created more problems than solutions. Obviously, I think, the biggest issue on the artist side is that, subscription services pay only fractions of a penny per play. And so it's near impossible to monetize or even, create a viable career in music. A lot of artists, reluctantly, use these DSPs because that's really the only way to get exposure. But,
100%.
They have to compromise, their earnings power because of it. So, for us, eventually there was a point in time where, being a physical music distributor became antiquated and, obviously aggregating to digital services, massively easier than having warehouses and stockpiles of pallets of CDs, that type of overhead. But we kind of realized that the only way we were going to be able to advance was to essentially become a streaming service ourselves. And so, with that thought in mind, it was we approached it. I guess we approached it from the back end first. So the thought was, look, how can we create a service that actually pays artists a penny per stream? That was the thought.
Yep.
We wanted to pay a penny per stream. And so we went about different, iterations and thoughts and concepts. And what really stuck, I guess, survived out of all of that to get us to the present day is that, physical merchandise then and more so now, really, it's clear that that's become the one main way, especially for independent artists, to monetize. Independent artists, I guess touring's the other piece, but how many independent artists actually can get themselves into a regional tour, let alone some sort of national, tour. So we started backwards and failed a lot early on, and then I think what really kind of made the evolution of the model work was probably blockchain.
Yep.
Right.
So, the other issue that the whole industry has, which I've always found it to be curious, is that, the music industry requires a lot of different people to work together. But, all those different groups and parties don't trust each other, right? So artists don't trust their labels. Labels don't trust the platforms. Publishers don't trust the platforms, and ultimately how it's historically been handled is DSPs report monthly. Normally they'll furnish one single spreadsheet and it could have, billions of line items, all kinds of, data that you can't look at and interpret. And so, that one person was responsible for taking that spreadsheet and parsing it and splitting it up and, figuring out how much the publishers are going to get and how much the, songwriters were going to get and how much, each band member was going to get. And it turned into just, really chaos, because that one person on a lot of levels, that's a big responsibility. And there's a lot of people that, having to have information filtered down like that, they're very distrusting of that type of system. So what the blockchain does, and the first iteration of the model was blockchain music distribution, to the point where we aggregate to about 45 DSPs. Monthly reports come back, but the way our reporting works is we filter that all through the blockchain, and so all the artists that are a part of the smart contract,
Right.
who have some share of ownership in that project, it turns into automatic payouts and automatic reporting, and there's no questions, there's no confusion. And because it's blockchain, that's basically an immutable ledger. So those transactions, who got paid, what service paid what for what track, those are permanent records. They can't be manipulated.
It's honest.
It's honest. Right?
Yeah.
And so that just gives peace of mind, to all the groups that are kind of forced to work together, and solves a big problem. That's, a trust in a distrusting industry. And so that was kind of the foundation that we built on. And then, naturally going back to the thought of, okay, well, how do we create a streaming service that can pay artists a penny per stream? Again, it's all apparel based.
Right.
So
Right.
we understood, especially as crypto kind of, started to become a lot more mainstream, and I'll speak to the NFTs, because that, the NFT piece was something that just really had me confused for years.
Yeah.
Like literally 2 years. So I, figured out how applicable they are in the music industry. But, so the streaming music service that we had in mind, didn't have a name for it yet. We understood that, okay, well, in order for this thing to power, and, and if we are going to attach the concept to a coin-based economy, then we wanted to make sure that, the utility of that coin was backed by something physical. I think that's,
Right.
Yeah.
that's been the hardest part for the masses to understand as it relates to crypto and blockchain.
Right.
They see, meme coins, and they see people, years ago paying hundreds of thousands of dollars
Right,
for
right.
digital ape images. And, that just created a bunch of confusion. And of course they saw, a bunch of, millionaires and billionaires getting richer and making transactions, no one could figure out, why, who believes in this stuff?
Yeah.
What is it backed by? And my thing was like, gosh, okay, so we're going to pay, $1, let alone 100,000 for some sort of digital image. But, isn't the designer who designed it the true owner of the original art? Like what, it was confusing, just absolutely confusing. So, the model itself, Arena Radio, it functions more like a traditional Pandora. So it's a non-interactive license that we use. And basically, with the way the laws are set up there, anything that's been commercially released,
Right.
Ever, whether it be the Beatles, Michael Jackson, or the artist that just released a new single or album yesterday,
Right.
as long as you have the licensing in place, you can create commercial broadcasts of that content. So we leveraged that thought, and we said, okay, how can we, create this streaming music service that ultimately pays artists the highest royalty per stream on earth,
Right.
but also engages the listener. I think that's the other missing piece when it comes to the platforms, the streaming services that are out today. There's nothing engaging about them, nothing
Right,
that is
right.
encouraging you to go discover a new artist, or even stay within the app, researching or finding more content from artists that you do love.
Right.
And so we were, basically trying to solve a lot with the particular approach, and it turns out that we did. So the way Arena Radio works, it is commercial free, it's subscription free,
Right.
and
Gotta love that.
people,
Just right
obviously gotta
there.
love that, right? And people ultimately get a little confused by that, because we do, the model itself, again, rewards listeners for listening,
Right.
while also paying artists, the highest royalty rate per stream. And so
Amazing.
how we do it Again, it's based all on merchandise transactions. So as a listener, every time you listen to a full song, you earn a credit.
Right.
That credit's worth a penny, right? So what you can do as a listener is at the end of the month, you can take the credits that you've earned and you can apply those as cash discounts to purchasing merchandise in app. We've actually set it up to where you can purchase band merchandise. You can purchase merchandise from fashion brands that we support. And of course, we have our own branded apparel line. But more importantly, as a listener, you can upload images from your phone, and we will actually produce the shirts, the hats, the hoodies, basketball jerseys. There's probably 60 things that we manufacture in house here.
Love it.
Which again is compelling because most bands are used to selling the standard T-shirt.
Right.
And for bands, that can even get complicated because it's hard to predetermine how many red extra large T-shirts you're
Absolutely.
Yeah.
small, and then you've got maybe another design and another colorway, and that can be a lot of upfront expense, only to result in boxes sitting in your mom's garage.
Right.
That actually happened to me. And so for us, our model is on demand. So technically, when that artist uploads an image,
Right.
we can apply that particular image across, upwards of 60 different product options, and then just allow listeners, fans, and investors ultimately to come in and order what one item they want based on the color variations or configurations. And then we produce it here in Phoenix and then ship direct to the customer. So in that instance, as a listener who's earned credits at the end of the month, you can, again, use those credits to purchase that apparel. But more compelling is that the listener also has a choice if they don't want to, convert those credits to discounts on apparel purchases. Well, then they can choose to convert those credits into the equivalent value of our coin.
Is that right?
Yeah. So, which is a passive way of mining crypto. So
Right.
we call it consumption mining, which is basically, associating the utility or value of a coin on physical transactions. You look at economics, specifically the dollar. When we went off the gold standard back in 73, I think it was, technically there's nothing backing the dollar now. The only thing that drives the value of the dollar is the fact that a lot of us believe that $3 will buy a pack of gum and maybe 8,000 will get you a decent car.
10,000 will get you a date with Jen Jones.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's
It's
pricey.
Is that right? Oh, you told me 10 last night. Wow, inflation.
That's why
Crazy.
That's why here.
Wow.
But so it's for us, we kind of flip the model on its head. Everyone understands a $20 hat or
Right.
$50 T-shirt,
Right.
and if you're allowed to use these credits that you are earning from listening
Right.
for discounts on purchases or conversions into our coin, well, you're understanding the value of that coin,
Right.
what it is, because it's based off of a physical transaction. And so, on the artist side, it's the same thing. So every time an artist's track is streamed, they earn that same credit that's worth a penny. But in this instance, the artist, sure, they could convert those credits into services, apparel services that we offer, or choose to receive that credit as a royalty in our coin. So we pay out in our coin as well. Anything that comes through from like the other 40, 45 DSPs we work with, like Apple and Pandora, Spotify, those are direct pass-throughs. So the artist makes 100% of all that
Amazing.
revenue. And then on the merchandising side, if, we, with each individual artist or label, will come up with the price schedule for the items that we're going to produce for them. So there'll be a schedule for the cost of a one-off item, and then we give them a schedule for bulk production in the event that they need, tour supply. But the artists make 100% of the net royalties generated from, or net margin revenue anyway, generated from those transactions. So if it costs us, $12 to make a T-shirt, but the artist wants to sell it, for $85, they keep that margin. So it's 100% net revenue, royalty payout for that. And then that's how the model came together. I mean, it's
It's
you know,
genius. You said
it's
something pretty profound. You said that no one's really buying an album. No one's buying music anymore because everyone's streaming.
Yeah.
Which is very true. So there is this big push for artists to sell merchandise to actually make some money off their music if they're not touring.
That's the only thing that's left.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
You know? And what I've kind of discovered too is that it's not just limited to musicians. I mean, you know, influencers, fashion brands, sports teams. I mean, it's amazing, you know, when you own apparel production, you know, it's amazing to see how many verticals and, you know, different industries need apparel. You know, and that, I think that was the one thing that really made it possible for us to do this. You know, it took us, it probably took us a good 6-7 years to completely build this thing. You know, again, a lot of it was trying and failing and, you know, hitting the drawing board again and restarting. But, you know, it was because of all the internal capabilities that we have can be, you know, broken out and serviced to other industries.
Right.
We were able to generate the revenue we needed to keep developing. You know, I don't know how much I've spent on this thing. You know, what's great about it is that it's, you know, 100% debt free. You know, we've been fortunate, you know, obviously I've been in the music industry long enough to understand how it works. So I understand, you know, where to focus and have some pretty good relationships that have helped along the way. But it's, you know, that's all that's left. And I think that, you know, again, focusing on tangible merchandise, you know, something that is timeless. I mean, everybody, you know, ultimately, eventually needs some sort of branded marketing through apparel. So, you know, and it only makes sense. And then, you know, associating these apparel items within each artist's radio channel on Arena, again, that kind of addresses that, you know, trying to figure out a way to keep listeners more engaged, you know. So we have people that, you know, when we can monitor it, you know, they'll stream a broadcast or a station, and we can see that, you know, within that, you know, 10 minutes, they've looked at 15, 20 different apparel items. They're actually looking through, you know, the inventory and the, you know, images that we're serving them. And that's what we want. You know, we want those conversions.
So that is really the only requirement for an artist to really, to activate, I'll call it activate their profile on Arena, right?
Yeah. It's even cooler than that. So, you know, we've got probably, right now, close to 95 million tracks.
Okay.
And so essentially what that equates to is that, you know, most, probably 4.3 million artist profiles. So what's awesome is when you come to Arena Radio as an artist or a label, your profiles are already built out. Like it's, you know, it's plug and play. You know, the music is already streaming. And to claim your profile, we obviously, you know, verify you as the owner. You know, we have a lot of people that request and pretend that they're Taylor Swift. So there's a pretty elaborate verification process we go through. But once you claim the profile, you know, there's nothing to pay up front. We don't have monthly subscriptions. There's no back end fees. Essentially, all it requires is that you connect or upload your merchandise. That merchandise, it's not even that it has to be exclusive to Arena. We just, you know, because we manufacture and produce it, you know, it makes it easy because it, you know, you don't have to go look for a partner when it comes to production on that side. And so that's the only requirement, you know, again, everything being, you know, centered and based on merchandise, you know, artists that claim their profiles that we are going to pay those, you know, high royalty stream rates to, you know, we simply ask in exchange that they use us and leverage us to sell their apparel, their merchandise to their fans.
That's awesome.
Investors.
And why wouldn't they at this point?
So everybody so the listener is able to like see, you know, and use their credits towards buying merchandise, right? So everything is transparent. What I'm feeling and hearing is transparency, and also the, you know, the artists, you know, they're able to go on the platform, set their stuff up, bingo, and then see their credits. So it's all there. It's real time.
So that's
there,
all
right?
blockchain reporting too. Which that basically means as an artist, you know, you can build a team of upwards. I think our system's set up to accommodate a team of 1,000.
Oh, wow.
Which, you know, who's ever going to exceed that? Yeah. So mostly it really, you know, when an artist comes in, they'll set up the agreement. It's a smart contract. they'll invite their band members, lawyers, managers, investors, whoever's a part of their label, their group, and each of them
Right.
basically sets up a profile too. And
Right.
so everybody, has access to that smart contract that they've agreed to, and then that is what technically triggers the automatic payouts and reporting. So, and then, if you want to get audited, your lawyers, no matter, what side or what party it is, we can always distribute the blockchain records so people can verify who got paid, how much, and when, and what date. And, it's become really, it seems that, a lot of artists like the security of the situation, but also, again, going back to that initial thought, it just completely removes distrust. It almost
Right.
makes it to where you could collaborate with an international artist, never knowing who they are,
Right.
nothing about them, and feel comfortable because, parties that agree to that smart contract, if they do their part, then that's how they get, their royalties. So it kind of, it really expands the concept of being able to collaborate and work with musicians globally, even designers. We have a lot of fashion brands that just because of the nature of the platform, and the fact that, we're internal production, we have a lot of fashion brands that use us for their entire line, and then we associate their content with specific genre channels. So
Wow.
it's a way to
Wow.
cross market,
Yep.
Right.
product that we make for them, even though they're not musicians. So it's, basically anything that we can do to tie all aspects of creative communities together into one platform is really kind of, describes and defines Arena.
Amazing. I tell you, the journey has been long, as you said. It's been 6-7 years, but you're here now, and we're just about at that point where you're ready to push the buttons.
Yeah, so that's exciting too, because we've been talking for weeks. The native apps are ready to publish. I think we're just putting some polish on, but we plan on launching those right before Christmas and starting kind of the first campaign.
Excited about that.
Yeah, so that'll be exciting. But really, what we're trying to do is get ourselves positioned to be, I guess, what's next in the music industry for 26.
What's next in the music industry for 26? I tell you, date with Tim Jones for $10,000.
That's crazy.
$20,000.
Stop it.
That's what's next in the music industry.
Well, I think this is going to be really disruptive in the music industry.
It's going to be very disruptive, for sure. So are there any plans? And we don't have to announce this now, but you can come back. There's probably going to be some earliest incentives for some of those first fans to come on. Are you thinking about that a little bit?
Yeah, we've got some ideas.
Okay.
Double credit days, that type of stuff.
Double
Love
credit
that.
days, Kmart Blue Light Specials. Remember that? You too.
No.
No, you never. You never been in a Kmart, did you?
No.
Okay.
I'm like, who?
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about, though, I think.
Yeah, they're not around anymore, so you're okay.
Now, the biggest thing, though, is just to make sure that artists understand how this works.
Right.
Yeah.
For us to, we realize that it doesn't make sense to commercially market this. I think it's, we're in a day and age where, if you're not hearing about a new platform from your bandmates or friends and family, no one takes it serious.
Right.
And I've always considered that, if Arena is doing exactly what it was designed to do, and that's basically empowering independent musicians, creating opportunities for independent musicians to have viable careers in music, they're going to tell everybody.
Yeah.
Especially if they're getting, the highest per stream royalty rate and they're making, 100% of the net revenue on merchandise. Why wouldn't you market and promote Arena to your fans, right?
Absolutely.
And the consumer, I mean, why would I pay for a subscription to Spotify or whoever when I can get it for free? The exact same thing.
Yeah.
And it's more interactive and I can earn credits for it. Like as a consumer or a listener, why wouldn't you do that?
Right.
This doesn't. So I feel like, as you said, organically, it's going to explode.
And the thing about those commercial platforms, there is not one single streaming music service in existence today that you've ever used or heard of that's not either owned by the major labels or financed by the major labels, right? So take Spotify, for example. So back in the day when their monthly subscription was $9.99. I don't know what it is now.
50, I think it's close to $15,
okay.
$16.
Think about the economics. So that $9.99 payment, that one time a month payment, you've got to imagine that 40% of it's got to go to overhead.
Right.
So that leaves $6 left to be split amongst every single artist that listener has listened to in that given month. Well, if you're owned by the majors, then wouldn't it likely make sense that you want to elevate your artists
Right.
above maybe independent artists so that they get the lion's share of that
Here we go.
$6, right? And that's what's happened.
Yeah.
And I think that, a lot of artists, and listeners too. I mean, I think there's, sometimes some issues as it relates to playlist generation where people wonder why they keep hearing the same stuff.
Yeah, the
over and over,
algorithms
right?
all messed up.
And I think, it's probably because that content that you're hearing over and over and over on some level in that moment, there's a publishing aspect to it that is monetizing better
Right.
for the majors than some of their other catalogs. So that's why that kind of happens. Crazily enough, Arena Radio is the only streaming service on earth that is not associated with the major labels on any level. And, we've kind of done that by design too.
Yeah.
We're music industry. We understand the music industry. So, not making the same mistakes
Right.
is part of, I guess how we've been able to survive. But yeah, it's
Authentic.
it's authentic.
It's authentic.
Yeah, it's authentic. And I think, to go back to a point that you made earlier, yeah, it's extremely disruptive, especially at a time like this where, musicians are desperately looking for some sort of opportunity or platform that's artist centric, that they can, a one-stop shop for everything that they need.
Right.
Some sort of platform that they're not going to have to, distrust the information that they're receiving
Right.
Back in the form of reports. And, understanding these reports too that come from the DSPs are crazy because, there's the friends and family account, and then there's the free account, and then there's the intro college student account, and then there's and you're looking at the stuff and you're seeing these streams and these totals and the payouts, a tenth of a penny, and it is, it is beyond confusing.
It's insane. Yeah.
It is.
But when you get reports down from the blockchain, through Arena Radio, it's very easy to understand.
Yes.
So everything's monetizing at a penny per stream essentially. So yeah, I think we've simplified a lot. We've created a lot of solutions to problems that seem to be growing. And as a subscription service, you're kind of you can't get experimental like we have.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You're forced and stuck
In that
trying to
algorithm.
compete for that same consumer subscription payment. And that makes it to where you can't be progressive. How do you incorporate a coin? How do you bring in apparel? If you don't own the production and you've got to, outsource to 5 different people, somewhere in that chain, it's going to break down. Someone's going to be
Absolutely.
unhappy. Someone's going to lose money.
I think it comes at a good time. You touched on like the record labels, and their dishonesty. I think that's kind of coming to surface through some artists, on social media. But I also feel like people like the authenticness of, not being fake, not being stuck in that matrix of the algorithms. People talk to me all the time about on social media or on Spotify, for instance, they're stuck in this like matrix, like on a hamster wheel, the same things getting fed to them. And people, I feel like in this day and age can see that, and we don't necessarily the artist doesn't necessarily need the record label anymore if they have all the right tools. But a big missing piece of that tool is monetizing from the money.
Right.
Because they get cut off at the knees. They don't get it all. So if they can kind of make a profit off every stream and merchandise, it kind of, as you said, solves a lot of problems on the back end.
What are some of the, I know that there's some, and it's just made me think about this, some special, like the features of being able to create their playlists and their types of things from the listener standpoint. What are some of that value add that Arena is different than some of the other platforms?
So that goes back to the engagement piece. When we started developing Arena Radio, we have built the most devastating AI learning engine that could have ever been attached to the music industry. And that's really what has made what we have done so unique. I'm trying to remember that question.
The features, like,
Yes,
yeah,
right.
the
So-
playlist, yeah.
So that was what I was getting to. So, did you know this, Robert? There are over 6,200 genres and music
I
categories.
did not know that.
Yeah, so we figured that out and blew our minds. And so we said, look, how cool would it be to allow a listener to come on and select a general category like rock, and it expands down into subcategories of genres of
rock.
music.
Yep.
Yeah.
Some that they have never heard of in their lives, some that they didn't even know were
Right.
associated with rock. But the way our system works is you can actually select and check each one of those subgenres
Oh, yeah.
to make your own unique broadcast. And so for us, it's, imagine this scenario. So I come on to Arena Radio and I say, look, I want to listen to metal music, but only from 1992 to 1998. Here are the area codes that I want to focus on. I want female vocalist only, and I want deep album cuts.
Damn.
Our engine will generate that broadcast for you right then and there,
That's
instantly.
nuts.
And the way our algorithm works, you are guaranteed to not hear the same track twice within a
Right.
72-hour period.
Wow.
Love that.
There's that much content.
Can you
Unless you want to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Unless
got
you
it.
want to. Gotcha.
Yeah. So, there's some limitations that come along with that non-interactive license. But again, we have, I guess you could say, bent every rule to a perfect fracture
Yeah.
as it relates to kind of how that works. So that's why you're going to notice a drastically different experience between us and, say, iHeartRadio.
Right,
It's
right.
the same license.
Okay.
Or us and, say, traditional Pandora.
Mhm.
With the way non-interactive works, it kind of mimics traditional radio. So you can't rewind, you can't select the next track. You can't necessarily see a list of the playlist. You can change channels, right? You can change stations, but that's it. And so that's kind of the rules and parameters we've had to operate in. We just have approach things from a much more creative perspective, specifically again with engagement and the listener in mind. But yeah, this concept of actually building your own stations and programming your own stations based on sets of genres and
Right.
categories and filters, I guess, that's what people want. That's what listeners want, and it's so unique that, we've been able to kind of, think through and create, kind of the last piece of the entire model, which is, more of like a social network concept. And so imagine a social network that basically matches people up based on their music preferences, right? So if you've got, say 60, 75%, similarity amongst these types of listeners, you're going to get introduced to them. And then you guys can collectively build stations together that are publicly available on Arena Radio for others to listen to. And it just turns into, just the coolest way to discover new music, but also engage others within your space that, have similar interests that you don't know.
Right.
We've got a live event kind of element tied into that too, which is really cool. So then imagine you have being, matched up with these listeners that have, similar interests, and you're at the same show together. You will actually get an alert that tells you that. And if you want, you can meet. It's really,
wow.
really pretty cool.
It's like a dating app.
Conceptually, yeah, it
Conceptually.
works like that. But again,
Hey, I heard you like this song.
we're kind of aligning
Hey.
people more specifically together, based on music. So
Right.
it's common
Swipe
interest.
left or swipe right.
Yeah.
Look, Rob perked up when he heard that. Yeah, I said your government name. He called you your government name. I was like, ooh. I'm like, get
that's
set up
right.
straight. I love that.
No, this is exciting. And, to wrap it up, I think that, we are AmpEQ. We're proud to be, part of Arena, the voice of Arena, really taking the opportunity to to focus in on bringing in artists and really getting them engaged into the platform, and giving them another ability to engage their fans, right? I mean, that's what it's all about. So we will be showcasing some artists very soon, and look forward to that. So
Yeah. Speaking of artists and being interactive, look who just walked in. Jacob Luttrell, aka Jacob is dead, everybody.
he's alive right now. Look at that.
Hi,
No offense, all right.
No, I gotta tell you, I'm glad that we got a chance to get you down here, my man. I tell you, what do you think about this arena thing?
I honestly, I don't actually have the words to express my excitement, to be perfectly clear. And I got a lot of artist friends, and
This is the only thing I'm going to be posting about for the next couple months.
Arena Radio.
Arena Radio.
Love it.
oh my goodness.
Yeah, you and I have been talking about this, and it's so interesting. He got the concept literally on the first pass.
Yeah.
He just it's like, okay, and then he says, "Yeah, I can talk about this," and he really, it's just it didn't take. It's that simple. Am I right?
Can I be completely like candid and upfront?
Yeah, big,
Some of my
Buckle
merch
up.
is just gonna say "fuck Spotify." I'm not gonna lie.
That's what we're hoping for, Jacob.
That's what Spotify did to me. They fucked me.
Guess who's dead now? Spotify.
Honestly, I'm gonna do some sock merch, and one sock's gonna say Spotify, and the other one's gonna say socks. Spotify socks.
There we go.
No, but all negative energy, blah blah blah. Positive energy. Arena is the first time I've heard of a platform that really wants to take care of the artists that really do it for the love, but are starving, like real starving artists that are like actually putting everything in their entire life into this craft, and it's a lot of beautiful stuff, and no one's gonna hear it because they have to eat and they have to go and whore themselves out to write really shitty pop songs for somebody else.
Speaking of whores, I'm just kidding.
Wow.
no,
No, that's so true. And now you can sell your own merchandise and get 100% of the profits from it. Who does that?
That's bananas. Damon, that's bananas.
Yeah.
That just makes sense, right?
It makes dollars.
Yeah.
There you go. That's a bar.
Wow. It's just,
Is that another T-shirt? Or...
Listen, if we spend enough time here, I'm going to walk out of here with 19 concepts before I come back.
I can't wait for it.
Oh, man.
We got to get them up.
Yeah.
I'll buy them.
Yeah.
The Spotify socks.
that sucks.
And make dollars on some underpants or something, whatever it is. Whatever it is that you
This
don't
doesn't
wear.
make
No.
sense. It makes dollars. Yeah.
There you go. Free
Well,
game.
I gotta tell you, you always come in and lighten things up. So we appreciate that, and definitely look forward, as you're going to be really our ambassador right out of the gate on this. You know that,
I like
right?
that.
Yeah.
I like that. Thank you very much.
You-
It's my pleasure. Next time we do one of these, let's not do it in the morning. This is not.
Talking about 7:00 at night. Jacob is still dead.
To film something, especially when I have to sing something. They're like, well, the call time is 7:00. And I'm like, I think I sing at 7 in the morning. Do you hear this? This is last night's situation.
Yeah, he doesn't even sing in the shower at 7:00 in the morning.
No, I
He's
don't
like,
know. No. Good morning, good evening, whatever time you think it is. But yeah, thanks for having me. This is I'm actually too excited. Way too excited.
I know you are. Well, I appreciate you definitely sitting down on the couch with us and talking a little bit about Arena Music, which we are excited about. It's going to be launching very, very soon. Christmas is coming, and you have time, and you want to listen to all those Christmas songs that are on Arena, because they're all there. Everything that you can find anywhere else will be there. Jingle bells to... I was cutting it off, but you did. What did you sing the other day?
This Christmas will be. Oh, see, you hear that?
I like it.
Donny Hathaway of really taking Christmas. Did you hear that one? Donny Hathaway.
Donnie.
Halfway.
Donny Hathaway of making things that okay. All right.
Well, Jacob's got to go back there and start sewing his merchandise that he's talking about. So, Tim, you want to show us where you can set up?
All right, then. Well, hey, folks, thank you very much for tuning in on AmpEQ. I am VA.
And I am Jen Jones,
the voice of Arena, and this has been great. Our guest with Damon, the CEO of Arena Radio, Arena Apparel, and everything about Arena.
Everything Arena.
Let's go check it out.
Cool. So I'll take you guys through the warehouse real quick. There's nobody here, so it should be a pretty easy trip. So main lobby. So we've got everything split up between production and office space. So this technically is Arena Radio side. So office space here. We've got maybe 14 right now employees that run the radio side. So come on up. I'll show you around. And I always ask artists, bands that come in here, if they recognize that band on the wall right there. It's a classic picture, classic band. Without these guys, there would never have been a Beastie Boys. Rick Rubin's got his fingerprint all over it. This is Bad Brains from New York. Yeah.
That one that says men?
Yeah.
So off the office here, we come into the production side. And this is where all the magic happens. So Arena Apparel does everything from full cut and sew, dye sublimations. We make sports jerseys for teams, fashion brands, obviously band merch. A lot of band merch comes through here. We do have our own apparel line too. So you'll see a lot of Arena Apparel product that comes from this space.
Stop right there and then jump in. And then you can walk down here and be like, oh, hi,
You're good.
guys. Let me get out of the shot, though.
Catch you Monday. All right. Have a good weekend, man. All right.
Just gonna walk into it.
Yeah. So here we see Leaky and Jacob working on their band merch. It's good, guys. Earning your keep. There you go. You got the stitches right. 1,500 units due by today.
Sorry. Yes, boss.
But production's pretty cool here. Depending upon what we're producing, we'll have anywhere from 30, 35 sewers at a given time. We do everything from apparel production to technical sewing. So, we've done plate carriers, we've done rifle slings, a lot of technical sewing. Used to do a lot of third-party sewing, but that's had to phase that out since the product that we're making for bands and fashion brands consumes all of our time. But everything's full embroidery, full digital print. The dye sublimations there in the back. That's what allows us to get edge-to-edge soccer jersey type prints. And a lot of hats. We do a lot of hat embroidery, a lot of hat patches. But you'll be able to find most all of this stuff on the site. Trying to think where else we should head.
That girl looks shady over there.
Yeah.
Swear to God, I've seen you.
Our rugby shirts?
Huh?
Our rugby shirts?
No, I've seen you in this top before. I swear I have. I'm like,
I like that. That is dope.
yeah, that's why I thought you were a stop sign. Like, you can have like a little stop sign like here almost. Yeah, I thought you would.
Oh yeah, this is a traffic light. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's easy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool.
2 times.
Yeah. So you try me.
That dance goes like this. Is that it? Is that it?
Show us how it goes again.
No. Like this. Like this.
Get your walk on.
But there's about 25,000 square feet here on this entire campus. We have an event space that we rent out on weekends, but also we do live performances, product launches, art galleries, fashion brands. It's pretty cool. Cool. All right, guys, my name is Damon Evans, CEO of Arena Radio and Arena Apparel. Thank you for visiting, but you gotta go. Sorry.